So in part 1 of our series, we worked on kind of getting our project scaffolded and moving over some of our assets, and we got deployed live on Turbo, which is right here. So obviously we don't really have much work yet, but just to refresh, we're working on a real client project for a small real estate company. They wanted to basically be able to show some listings, and later on maybe build out a login system for tenants. But right now, the immediate project that we're covering this series, they need a landing page to display some apartments. So that's what we're working on. We might need like a basic data model, which we'll get to later, but pretty static. A little bit of dynamic data for the apartments, but nothing crazy. Pretty simple and like a real client project. So again, we have this deployed here, and here's our local dev server. So we want to work on kind of building this out more, get a real landing page. Just to refresh, make sure you have, let me just open a new terminal window. In case for some reason you're starting in the middle, make sure you install Turbo CLI globally. Probably do sudo. And then go to your project directory and you can run turbo dev server. And then if you go to localhost 3000, you should see your page. Yep, so that should be, in case you're starting in the middle and downloading the code, just make sure you have that installed so you can run the dev server. And all right, so let's keep moving along. So just a refresher, we have these, we're using mustache templates, and we have these partials here. So if we go to our index page, we got our nav here, which we want to clean up. And this is going to be our home page content. So let's go to that nav partial, and if we go here, how many lines do we have? It's literally over 1,000 lines, and sorry I'm scrolling. I know it's hard to follow in the video, but I'm just going to the bottom. Yeah, there's like 1,000 lines, so we want to get rid of like almost all of this. So what I'm going to do is, all right, so it looks like we have kind of two classes, two containers. One is for when it's collapsed, so like this hamburger type menu. And we don't want to lose that. So what we're going to do is, all right, let's just start. If you look here, this second nav section is like 1,400 lines, and what that is all like this, a million different pages, which we do not need. So I'm gonna come in here and see how here we have home, pages, blog. I'm assuming there's some kind of unordered list, and these are just list items, and then each one of these probably has a million subsections. So let's see if we could kind of look where these kind of main list items are. So right here I have unordered list class menu, horizontal text left. That sounds like this could be what we want. Home right here. Let's just, all right, so look, there's a list item, and the next list item is pages, so I think that's probably what we want. So what I'm going to do is collapse these sections, and I'm just looking to make sure there's nothing else I want before I delete them. And I'm literally going to just delete all of these just to leave us with one of these sections. Save that. The dev server automatically reloads the page. Our changes. So no need to restart or anything. Just refresh your page. All right, I got this. Is what I want. I'm gonna get rid of these two. Later I might bring one back as like a login button, but for now. So I'm just searching for that text. And I'm just going to delete this whole module and see what happens. And I don't want the drop down, I just want these to be kind of links. So if we scroll up back to that original home list item, we have all of this underneath. There's this div class drop down container that's about 250 lines. I'm just going to get rid of that whole thing and see what happens. Oh, so we have our text, and see this span class drop-down trigger? That's probably a JavaScript class to create the drop-down, and I don't want that. So I'm going to see if we remove this class, if it gets rid of that little arrow. And yep, that looks good. And again, let me see. So this is from, I went over in the first video, pretty much what they asked for. Just like your standard site you would make for any client or business, homepage, about page, contact us, and they have an availability or building page. But for our top bar here, let's do home. Again, I'm just assuming if I add these more list items, it'll lay out pretty nicely based on what we just deleted. So let's throw in 4 of these. I'm just going to leave this drop-down class even though we're not using it. It doesn't matter. It might affect the styling, and it looks fine now. So home, about us, or about contact, and availabilities. Hopefully I spelled that right. Alright, so that looks decent, that top bar. And then I don't have enough content to scroll. But I do want to see if we collapse here. Oh, yep, that looks good. Originally it was like this home bar here. When you scroll, it was one of those kind of sticky bars. But I don't have any content, so we can't trigger that. So I want to make sure that I didn't lose that. So let's start creating some content. And now again, because this is a partial, we can reuse this on every page. So let's go to our index page. So this right here is the mustache templating language, and this just says take everything from nav and paste it right there. So it's going to be nice when we work on some more pages, we can just keep dropping that in. So what I'm going to do now is I picked out ahead of time. This is like it's kind of looks nice. We could give some marketing. I'll check and find out what they want to put here, but just a couple of sentences. Great apartments, no fees. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But with like a kind of an urban background here, I think could look pretty good. I was looking at some like video backgrounds. It's like very in and common right now, but I don't know. I think that this is simpler is better for this kind of client. If it's like a restaurant or something, you want like a cool video, but it's just an apartment complex type company, and I don't know if we want to kind of bog down the landing page with like a huge video. And this looks good. It gives it some kind of interactivity without being like too much. So let's go to a background image. So I was looking for kind of something urban. I think I'm going to try this with maybe kind of a overlay to kind of make it more black and white. So this is pexels.com. They have all free, no license, free for personal and commercial use, no attribution required. They got a lot of good images. I know there's like Unsplashed or something is another common one, but it's pretty good. So I'm going to download this. Yeah, it looks nice. I'm going to move it to our project. The public directory, and we're going to go to this images folder and move it there. We could rename it. I'm going to call it city. All right. Now we're going to go to I'm going to go back to this theme. And so this is our home landing 4. I'm just going to copy and paste this section. And I'm going to change the image, change text. I'll delete some of this stuff and see how it looks. They don't have the sticky bar here. I think we had that set, but yeah, let's find out. So we go back to our theme folder. Home landing 4. It's not going to be the nav. Div class main container. Probably this section here. It's about 30 lines. Just going to give it a try. Div class main container. We may have to add a div for. Let's just. I think I probably deleted our main container. Alright, so I just basically pasted what I think we want to use, and this image is not going to work because it's a relative path, and we're using, and also it's our directory is called images, but alright, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so yeah, let's fix this to images. That should work. Alright, so let's go back to our landing page and see that's not what we want. So something's off. I mean, the image came through as good, but we're not filling the screen. Let me go back to the home landing 4. So we have div, this main container div. Is there any other outside divs we're missing? We have this body tag. maybe that's it. Oh, yeah, that looks good now. So for some reason this page has this body class equals, and it's just a space and right there, and we were using a different body tag, so I'm just matching what's here. So now we have our main image here, and it looks decent. Let's bring in our like cityscape, which I think hopefully is a JPEG. We'll find out. So we called it city. So let's try that. That's not it. Maybe it's PNG. And that's clearly not it either, so let's take a look. Images. Oh, it's a JPEG. Alright, so that looks okay. I want to give it that overlay that I was talking about. So we have here this div class background image holder. So if we check our Chrome inspector, I'm fairly certain that's the class we want to put our overlay on top of. And if we look right here, that's our image. So we basically, this background image holder, the image is filling its parent container. So we want to put another div in here. It's going to be our overlay to do the same thing. And I'm just going to style it in line. You know, just go with the easiest thing first. We can always move it later on, but one thing at a time. So let's just make a div, and we're going to say width 100% and height 100%, and we'll give it a z index. Let's just say 999. And again, how that works is each z index that's calculated determines which layer goes on top. And let's give it a background color. And again, I'm just going to use red just to see if it's working. Red. I'm going to use the RGBA codes because that's going to give us opacity afterwards. So I'm actually not even going to use red. I'm just using a random color. I'm trying to get this tooltip back up. Let me pick. Maybe I can get my red. Alright, that looks good. And let's see if that works or not. And yep, see, so our image is perfectly covered, which is what we want. So we know we sized it properly. And again, what we did is we put the div in the same container as the image and told it to fill 100% of the parent container. And we gave it a z index to put it on top. So if this said negative 999, oh, well, not sure what the other z index is, but anyway, it's on top, which is what we want. And now what we do is, so this is an RGB, let's do RGBA. The fourth number is the opacity. So we come in here and say 0.8 and save it. And that's a number between 0 and 1. And see, now we have the image showing through. And like I said, I think I'm going to do more of like a gray type color. So I want to see if I can get this. Visual Studio has this whole tooltip thing. It's pretty nice. Just going to try a random gray color like that. looks okay. I should probably use black actually. And then just use the opacity to kind of make it a gray. 0, 0. Okay. Looks okay. Maybe we want to change the image in the back, but for now, you get the idea. We have background image, then we have the overlay, which gives a little opacity so we can have this kind of marketing text here. So I'm going to get rid of that button. We don't really want that. And we don't want this view the demo piece. You probably should have some kind of call to action here. Join the mailing list or something, but I could do that apartment search box actually that I showed in the original video. I might do that, kind of like a search box. So the way this works is some kind of JavaScript that's written to basically enable this like typing action. So if you look here, they have stack a killer template 4. That's not changing. And you have these other words coming through. So without even having to go into the JavaScript, we can probably figure out by the data tags what's going on. So I'm stack killer template 4. This is the non-changing part. And this data type strings with all these, that's clearly the changing part. So okay, so what we want to do is let's just throw the company name in here. And then here let's do I just changed the strings here, separated by a comma. So I think there'll be two strings here, and this should stay fixed. So that actually looks pretty good. Okay, so let's just so this is some marketing text that they told me to use. Okay, add a dash in here. It's kind of long text, so I'm going to make it shorter. Alright, that looks good. And I think their colors are different, but we'll figure that out later. We want to get some content down here now. Well, let's fill this out. Let's give like a blurb. So I'm getting this text from another screen. All right, this looks decent. Just some sort of blurb. I mean, it looks pretty good. Let's fill out some content down here. I want some kind of list of apartments that they have, and we are going to need to use a mustache template for this. And if we go back to our theme, elements, blocks. I'm going to pause this while I look around so you don't have to watch. But if you're following along or using your own theme, find some kind of like block that we'd want to use to maybe a picture and like a few small data attributes. All right, so I picked out like a block that I'm going to use. Just find anything that's kind of that works with your theme. Don't go crazy. I'm going to use this. I have an image here, and then here I can have some small text. So actually, this looks decent. The dark. I like the light better. So that is section features small page. So I'm going to just grab this text and hope that they don't all use the exact same text. So right here, tabs container, if I don't need that. UL class tabs, section. I don't think we want this tabs container. What that's going to be is this. Kind of changing between them. Although we could do something cool with, some sort of filtering mechanism. But I don't want to go crazy. I want to keep it basic. Let's see. Light. Just going to grab this section here for now. And what I want to do is go back to our, and I'm going to start with the whole section, and I'm going to move the individual boxes to a mustache templating file, and we're going to rotate between them. So section, all right. Let's try this. I just pasted it outside of that other section tab. So we'll see if that works or not. It may not work. Let's see. I bet you the images aren't coming through. Image. No, unless I could have also grabbed the wrong piece. Let me jump back here. I wonder if there's two boxes with this text. And there's 7. So we got the wrong one. So this is what we want is here, this class feature 1. That's probably what we want. Alright, so let me just grab this whole section. And I'm going to undo my previous paste. I'm going to paste this section in. And let's take a look. Alright, that's... I don't think that's what we want. Yeah, I'm just fixing that image tag. This looks good enough. It wasn't the one I was going for, but looks fine. I'm going to use it so we can keep moving along. So if you look here, we have these 3 div class col small 4, right? So my goal here is I'm going to get rid of these, so there's only 1. And I'll just fix this path to images, just because that's what our project is using. And so now we have this 1 image. Now what I want to do is move this into a template file. So what I'm going to do is remove this, so it's gone, and I'm going to call this property, or we said availability small. So now we're going to go into our partials and create a new file called I'm an awful speller, I apologize. I think I got it right though. Availability small dot mustache. And I'm going to paste this in, and I'll know it works if when I refresh here it is. So now if I wanted to do 5 availabilities, I go back to our index, let's say 6. So here they are, and I'm sure you guys can guess we don't want to repeat ourselves and keep pasting the same thing. Maybe we can make like an array and cycle through it. So what we want to do is, if we go to our routes file, we have here our index, is the name of the view we want to render. And here we're passing in this text. Low battery. Okay. So instead of passing in this text, let's just make a fake array called data. And it's going to be an array, numbers 1 through 9. So I want to loop through this. So this, again, this is coming from our server. We're giving out some data. And on the front end here, what we can do data I believe this is the right syntax, but if it's wrong, I'll check in a second. But look here, we have 9. So we have 9 now showing up. So what's happening is right here, this data, the dump pound sign data, then end data, it's cycling through the array. So this data key tells it this array cycled through. And for each number, what we're doing is just render this entire template availability small. But now, let's just pretend we want some dynamic data. Like here it says built for teams. Let's do, that's the, sorry, I'm just thinking for a second. Let's pretend this was an array of objects. Called apartments, and then right here we're going to make some objects, and we're going to give it a title property. All right, so now instead of just a number, we have, sorry about that, we have objects. And what we want to do now is before we use the key data, we got that array, right? Now we can reference the individual keys here. So apartments, data, apartments. So in our actual index, we're still cycling through that data, but now we have an actual object here we can use. So if we go into this template, and instead of saying built for teams from the theme, let's just try title. I think that, yep. So just to reiterate quickly, what we're doing is this number sign and data is the key from the data we're getting from the back end, and we're cycling through the array. So we're cycled through the array, and for each object, which we just made 3 of, render the availability small template. Now the availability small template was static, right? And it just rendered them out. But then instead, we said, hey, let's try to do some dynamic. Let's render the title keyword. And again, where that comes from is now we're using all objects. So then we could do num beds or something, let's say, right? And give more keywords. So here we could say num beds. See now it says 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, so we're passing in more and more dynamic data. And so right now we're kind of hard coding that in on the server side on the back end, but we're going to get to next, or eventually, is having that hold dynamic data. So I'm trying to kind of move slowly, but kind of show you an idea how it all fits together. So instead of us, hard coding it in, eventually it comes from a database that says, whatever the number of bedrooms is, render it here, and here, cycle through all apartments. So we're getting to that point. We still have probably another video finishing up some styling on the home page, but then we can kind of circle back here. But I just kind of want to go through that templating logic, kind of start to give you the idea of how we get dynamic data and render things instead of just plain HTML that we're just statically typing out. So we're almost there, but that's going to be in the next video.